Hello and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. It has been a very windy day here, and in fact it's late afternoon when we usually don't start videos this late, but we had some errands we needed to run in town and we've been out in the wind. I'm still feeling wind blown. My eyes water like crazy in the wind, so if you see a tear running down my cheek, notice that it is just a result of the wind. So today we are going to begin our another series at Jim's suggestion on making some desserts and having dessert recipes available for you that are made with food storage ingredients. And so I have started a new section on our web page, not our bookstore, but our web page under the recipes link. We now have recipes and then the marvelous beans, and then right under marvelous beans is food storage sweets. And this recipe for carrot cake scones will be the first listing under that heading. And so it's there now, and I keep saying that, and then I get reminded that I haven't published it yet. So I'm trying to be better at getting them published in advance so that they will be there when you go to download them. So it would be probably good for you to print out a copy of the recipe so you can follow along. I'm not going to take a lot of time to go through the actual proportions, but rather I'll just talk through what we've done, and you'll have the recipe right in front of you. Now, notice today that the food storage ingredients that we are using: freeze-dried carrots, and my freeze-dried carrots, no matter what I do, they turn whitish. Now, I no longer use baby carrots, as I have read how they are produced. I won't support that. And so we use the regular long carrots, but even those, and even after blanching, they still turn white. But they taste good, and they work just fine. These are our whole eggs that we have. I'm not sure whether these are freeze-dried or dehydrated. You'll see a little oxygen absorber in there that's just left over from when I first bottled them up. And for eggs only, I do vacuum sealing and also an oxygen absorber usually. Sometimes I just do vacuum sealing. But these are in the house, and so they're not sealed at all because I just get into them all the time. This is buttermilk. I have freeze-dried buttermilk. And then this is a new addition to our shelves as of just recently. This is powdered cream cheese. And over on Trailgrazers, last Saturday's video was all about freeze-drying cream cheese. So those of you with freeze dryers may want to pop over there. I will put the link to that video at the end of this video so that you can see how we did it. We will be showing you how to reconstitute those when we get to the part where we're going to do the icing. So we're going to kind of set these aside. So if you've copied off the recipe and have it in front of you, you'll note that in this bowl I have put the flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. I'm going to kind of mix that up. Now, another dry ingredient that is going to go in there is the buttermilk. I do not reconstitute the buttermilk when I'm using it in recipes like this. I add the powder to the dry ingredients, and then I add the reconstituting water to the wet ingredients. So it calls for a half a cup of buttermilk, or in this case it's going to be 2 tablespoons of the powder to a half a cup of water, which we will add a little bit later in the recipe. So that is now going to be mixed up, and I have here all of the spices, and so that should be 9 total ingredients that we have right here now mixed together. So the next thing that we need to do is add the ghee. Now, over here we have, in terms of dairy ingredients, we have the cream cheese and the buttermilk, and also the eggs sometimes are considered dairy. Those are all now shelf stable because we have freeze-dried those. With ghee, this is shelf stable butter, and we have a couple of videos out on ghee and how to make it just using butter, and ghee stays shelf stable for years. You need no refrigeration. So we're going to just add that. I use it the same way that I use all butter in recipes. So this is cold. And now I'm just going to get in with my hands and I'm going to mix the butter in with the dry ingredients. What I did not realize is I put that ghee in the refrigerator before we went out on our errands, and it has become so hardened that I can't mix it with my hands. So I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and grate it like this. So we'll be back after I have completely grated the butter. The next thing we're going to do is rehydrate these carrots. I put about 1.5 cups of dry carrots in. So I'm just going to put some water in, and I'm not measuring the water because it's not reconstituting, it's just rehydrating. We'll drain off whatever water is left when they are done. They rehydrate really quickly, and we need about 1 cup. So we're going to let those sit for a minute. I may have to add some more. And so now we're going to mix the wet ingredients. The wet ingredients includes the egg powder, which, yes, it's a dry ingredient, but we are going to mix it. Okay, so I'm using 1/4 cup of egg powder. And 1/4 cup of water for the egg powder and 1/2 cup of water to reconstitute, or for the equivalent reconstituting of the buttermilk is 3/4 cup of water. So we're going to do that. And I'm also going to put in the vanilla. And we're just going to mix this up. So this is our egg mixture with a little extra water and some vanilla. And those powdered eggs go just immediately. This is the equivalent of 2 eggs. I use 2 tablespoons of egg powder with 2 tablespoons of water per egg. Okay, so these are done. Let's drain those. And we do. We have just about 1 cup. So the next thing that we're going to do then is add the carrots and the pecans to the dry ingredients. Kind of fold those in. And now we're going to add the wet ingredients. And we just stir until the liquid picks up all the flour. And at this point, if you feel the need, you can add a little bit more water. I think we're okay. Well, I'm going to add a few more drops. Not much at all, maybe a teaspoon or 2. There, this is just a little better, where it's picked up everything and is now formed into a ball. Okay, smelling really good. Now, at this point, we have a couple of options. I happen to have this pan, which is a mini scone pan, and I'll make sure that this is in our Amazon store if anybody wants to check it out. You do not need to have a scone pan. You can divide this dough into 2 lumps and roll them out into about an 8-inch circle, and then with your pizza cutter, cut that circle into 6 wedges and just place the scones on a parchment-covered baking sheet and proceed. Or, like I'm going to do, I have spray coated this with some spray oil, cooking oil, and I'm just going to pop the dough right in and press it in place in this scone pan. All right, now we're going to put this in the refrigerator and chill these for 20 to 30 minutes while I preheat the oven to 375. Our oven has preheated. The scones have been in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. I'm just going to brush the tops with milk, and you can use cream or half and half, whatever you want. It just gives a nice finish to the baked scones. Here they are, and in the oven they go. We should see them again in about, between about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and they just look and smell delicious. Time for them to come out. All right, here they are. Ooh, they smell so good. Now we're going to let these cool for just a few minutes, and then we are going to ice them with some cream cheese icing. So, let's see, I'm going to put those over here, and we are going to start with the cream cheese icing. So while the scones are cooling, we are going to mix up the cream cheese icing. We learned in the video where we did this freeze drying what the proportions are. And so the recipe calls for 4 ounces of cream cheese, and that equals just about a half a cup of this powder and a 1/4 of a cup of boiling water. So my water was boiling over there. I just turned it down. I'll re-vacuum that because that's going back out on the shelf. So that's going to go in here. And then we will put boiling water in here. And it calls for a 1/4 of a cup for 4 ounces of cream cheese. The reason that we use boiling water for cream cheese is because cream cheese has fat in it. And we've got to melt that fat quickly. Right now, it looks like cream cheese soup. That's because everything is now liquefied. The fat is now liquefied. But as it cools, it is going to set up beautifully into cream cheese. And it is not grainy at all, which is just really wonderful news. So here is some that we mixed up yesterday doing the very same thing, and you can see how much it has set up. And actually for the icing, we're not interested in it setting up this much because it needs to be softened. So we would have left, if we were going to be using this 4 ounces, we would have left this out to soften on the countertop for 2 or 3 hours. But because we mixed it up, it is about the right consistency right now. See how it is now setting up? So to that, we're going to add a half a cup of powdered sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla, and 3 tablespoons of milk. And then we can adjust this any way we want to. Right now it's kind of a glaze. I can beat it with my hand mixer. In fact, I think I'm going to whisk it. I'm going to add some more powdered sugar. I'm going to adjust the recipe before I actually post it. Now, if you have standard cream cheese and you are not using powdered cream cheese, it's going to make a difference in how this mixes up. I'm going to eliminate the milk in the recipe, and just suggest you add milk if desired. Okay, now we're coming along. I bet we could just do this.
Probably so.
I think that looks pretty great.
Yeah. Looks a lot easier than brushing it on.
All right, finished. We now have 16 mini scones. They are beautiful, and I love how the icing is dripping down the side. So we're just going to leave these out and let the icing set. I'm going to rinse my hands, and then I'm going to come and take a bite. Here is one that just looks scrumptious. These are wonderful. Oh my goodness. They're just absolutely great. Jim, you're going to love these.
Okay.
One of our trial batches wasn't so good. But we've adjusted the recipe and fixed what was the matter with that one, and these are just fantastic. So I'm going to sit this one on the corner. So it is so great to have these things shelf stable and ready to go that we could, if the grid went down and stayed down for a while, so long as we have a way to bake either in a Dutch oven or a propane fired oven, we could make the desserts like this. And this really isn't a dessert. It's a lovely sweet that can be used for a lot of things. So I think we've had a great success. And thank you so much for being with us. And the adjusted recipe will be up before I go to bed tonight, which is several days before this video actually airs. So we should be in good shape. So thanks so much. Please share what you learn from our channel with others. We just want the good word to get around to everyone who is interested in preparing for uncertain times ahead. And subscribe if you have not. We are having a fantastic celebration for our 5-year anniversary, and we'll be celebrating all through the month of March. So we will see you soon with more videos.